Ahoy hoy, it's your boy attackslug, and we are here today looking at 3D Game Heroes in a video series I like to call Where You At, wherein I load up a save file of a game in my enormous collection and try to figure out how to play the game again that I probably haven't played in a couple years. Today we're looking at this game, and 3D Game Heroes is a 2010 release for the PS3. Developed by Silicon Studios, who you may know recently from Bravely Default. But this is one of their first games they actually made. Previously they were a middleware publisher. Published in Japan by From Software, who you may know from Demon's Souls and Dark Souls, and published in the US by Atlas USA. So, as this series is that I basically hit continue and see where the hell I am and what the hell I'm doing, and if I can recall how to play the game. So we're gonna hit continue. I have not hit continue on this game yet. I don't know where I am. As you can see here, 2/24/2012, and I do know I finished this game, and it took me 15 hours and 21 minutes. So we're gonna load the save data and poke around for a bit, and that's gonna kind of be how these videos go. One feature in this game that's really cool. This I guess to start with, this game is a lot like Zelda, like super like Zelda. But one of the features it has is that you can choose from a variety of different characters. Some of them, you know, your basic fantasy type tropes, and some of them like Santa Claus and things that get, you know, really weird. Because this game was published in Japan by From Software, these created characters do have characters from some From Software games, like the president here, who is from Metal Wolf Chaos, a game that never got localized here, but really should have, because it was fucking insane. And also we've got characters from Otogi, which is an original Xbox game that From did in Japan, that did get localized here, Otogi 1 and 2, for the original Xbox. But we're not going to sit here for too long on this stuff. We are just going to go with the standard main character, From, and get right into it. As I said, this game is a lot like Zelda. It has a lot of just 8-bit, 16-bit references all over the place. And generally, I enjoyed the time I spent with it. Here I am, here's my character. Everything in this game is made of pixels. Let's see if I can remember how the hell to play. One of the key things that does differentiate this game is the fact that you can modify and upgrade your sword path. And right now I have the hero sword. I'm just going to go with the basic, boring, ordinary sword, just to give you a good idea of how things look, how things play. I guess I have the boomerang as my sub-weapon. This is a Zelda-ass Zelda game, and this was before they put out things like A Link Between Worlds, which is, you know, more of the classic 16-bit style of Zelda. So back in 2012, this was what you wanted, a console-ass Zelda. This was your option, with things that look a lot like moblins and explode into pixels. You smash some pots, get some stuff from the pots, you know how it goes. It's like Zelda. But let me just slash this guy here and then show you the other feature here in the sword upgrade system is that you can put, see how I put a whole bunch of stars here into strength and into length and into width? You can make your sword really fucking big. Look at that shit. Look at that shit. That is fucking insane. It's great. Now, despite that, despite having a giant super sword and whatnot, it doesn't make the game any easier. This game, certainly, when you get into the later dungeons, and especially that last super long dungeon, is a difficult game. Let me get out of town here. My TV just blinked, which I need to replace this TV at some point. I don't know that I found everything in the game. I think, obviously, if you see my Life and Magic, it is not all the way. And my TV I need a new TV. Is not all the way, and that is certainly, I'm sure there are heart pieces and magic things that I could have gotten that I didn't. But that's like most games. I don't really ever finish games completely, because it's just, I have too many games. I have far too many games to play. So, I'm not entirely sure where this is in terms of, it said complete, and it certainly had given me the option to go to a New Game Plus, but I don't know if I actually finished, like, I don't know if the game saves after you beat the last dungeon. Alright, I want my magic back. That's a good thing. So I might just wander around for a few minutes and then see if I can't get into a dungeon, even though I've already beaten them. The last dungeon in this game is like a bunch of dungeons in a row, and is a significant chunk of time as compared to all the previous ones. But there are some enemies in here that are, you know, not just pushovers, but I'm pretty sure this is an early area. What they do with the enemies is that some of them will have a crown over their heads, and those ones will be harder than the others. All right, here's the map. Villages, inns, houses, all those pink things, little face things are dungeons. That one's blinking, in that big tall castle there, so that's probably means that that's where I have to go. Meaning that the game did not, there's not what is called a complete world save. So you can't explore the world after you've, I mean, well, I'm assuming that's where the quote-unquote Master of Swords was. So yeah, let's actually try to figure out how to get to, what was that? Alright. So it does have, you can get warp wings, which is much like, some older items in 8-bit games that allow you to warp, and get to new areas. But as I said, I really powered up this sword to an insane degree, and it's kind of nuts. But that is certainly didn't make the game that much easier, even though you would think having a gigantic sword that just... Ah, yes, that was the thing. The sword is only gigantic. Much like in Zelda, when you have a full health bar, you get that extra, like, slash thing from your, you know, you get that extra effect. I only get that full giant sword when I have a full health bar. So it behooves me to keep my health bar at maximum, and getting hit there and losing half of an apple, not a heart, an apple, really screwed me over. So I need to equip the hook shot. Oh. I'm sorry, the wire rod. Yeah, they kind of went just far enough away from the naming conventions to not get sued. Although at the time, I don't think Nintendo would have cared that much, considering they weren't really making games, quite like this. It had been a number of years. Alright, so the drop-down stuff is not quite like Zelda. There are only certain points where you can actually drop down, and apparently these are not ones. But I know they are in here. So wait, I'm not... What was the point of this area outside of these guys? Obviously I can't get over... Now I'm confused. Well, let me, I should have turned off notifications. Oh well! That guy has like a little crown. He was, harder, or sometimes they're harder, sometimes they're faster, sometimes they have more health. It kind of varies, from enemy to enemy. Fuck that up pretty badly. Nope. Nope. Is it Alright, so I'm not entirely sure what does dictate having that maximum score. I thought it was hearts, but then I just had it there for a second, so I'm not sure if that was something different. As I said, it's been a good 2 years since I actually played this game, so I am certainly not as up to speed as I could be, but that is kind of the entire point of this video series, so take what you can get. Alright, this is the final dungeon. At some point, I will mark the front of these videos that they will probably have spoilers. You can see that I've unlocked 3 areas here, which I'm not going to do that. But, there will certainly, in a lot of these videos, be spoilers because a lot of these save games, God damn it, I am loading up quite possibly the end of the game. So, know that going in. However, I'm not sure what got me there. However, obviously, a lot of these games I'm going to play, not all of them, but I would say, you know, when I start getting into PS2 and GameCube and whatnot, are games that are, you know, have been out for a while. So if you're getting spoiled on games that came out 15 years ago, that's kind of not my problem. Assuming that's what's getting me back to the beginning, I'm going to avoid that. But yeah, this particular... Damn. Yeah, alright, there's my map. And you can see there are 7 floors to this dungeon. It is excessive. It is kind of insane. So we will play a little bit longer and kind of call it there because you've kind of gotten the gist of what this game is. It is, if you are familiar with Zelda, it is basically that, right down to the block pushing, and the fact that I'm getting my ass kicked by some simple ass shit, and not recalling some of these puzzles because it's been 2 years, and how come I can't push this? Seems like a plus. We're not going to spend a lot of time in these videos getting stuck on puzzles because that doesn't particularly make for great videos. Oh. Dodge that nonsense. So yeah, the game can be a bit brutal, but if you like and expect that kind of gameplay, you will certainly have a lot of fun with it. And I'd say 15 hours is about the length of some of the older Zelda games, so that kind of falls in line of this kind of three-quarter overhead genre. There are different camera angles. That was a thing that I didn't really get into. You can adjust the camera angles and how they. This was a boss room. This last dungeon has a couple of bosses, as you expect it to have, because it's the last dungeon. Need more apples is what I need. I probably have a fairy in here somewhere, but whatever. So if I can either die or end up going back outside, I can show you. I'm pretty sure the dungeon only gives you a singular camera angle because that is the most appropriate one. But now that this room's empty, I can double check for you. I'd be under options. Options. Screen. Yeah, the camera's fixed in the dungeons. So I would have to either die or find a crap. I need lamp. Need a lamp. And you'll find that, you know, it has pretty much the same items, the same, you know, all the same stuff that you would find in a Zelda game. And if you were looking for a console game that plays like Zelda but is not Zelda, but you know, maybe perhaps you don't have a Wii or a Wii U or a GameCube or any of those, perhaps you only have a PS3. And if you only have a PS3 but you really like Zelda, then I'm questioning why you only have a PS3. But regardless, if you only have a PS3 and you really like Zelda, this is the game you want. Conversely, I guess you could get some of the older Dark Cloud games that were on the PS2. Those might also scratch that itch. But 3D Dot Game Heroes is some, as they say, Zelda-ass Zelda. It is about as Zelda as you get without being called Zelda, without getting sued. So I'm gonna try to get back out of this dungeon and show you the different camera angles, and then wrap up this video. I think that this video series I'm doing might be more interesting in the games that are more story-heavy, only because I will really have no idea what's going on, and that could perhaps make for a more entertaining video. I don't know. This is still, you know, this is the first one I'm making, so I'm gonna kind of play it by ear in terms of how I want to handle that kind of stuff. But bottom line is, I have a lot of games, like a lot of games, and I've played and a lot of them I've finished. You know, a lot of them I am at the end of the game, or I do have a clear save file. But there are a whole bunch of games that I own that I am somewhere in the middle of, and that's, you know, action games, RPGs, you name it. So this video series isn't gonna convince me to finish those games. I mean, it might, you know, get me to pick it back up and then play more of it. But for the most part, I'm just hoping this will be entertaining for somebody to watch, to say, you know, here's these things that maybe you want to play, maybe you don't want to play, maybe you want to buy, maybe you don't have any idea what it is, or you never heard of it before, and if I can expose you to games that you haven't heard of before, that's good for everybody. But let's go into the options here. So your screen options, default is camera A. I don't put like camera A as the default. I think it's too close. I think you can't see a lot of what's going on. It certainly makes the models look nice when all of the pixels explode and that kind of stuff. But for me, it is not a classic Zelda view. Camera B, getting closer, getting closer. You know, you can certainly see more. I'm gonna get my ass kicked here, aren't I? Fuck! Get away! Shit. And then what I played most of the game on was camera C, where, nope. That is some NES Zelda 8-bit style walking around type stuff. I think those are the only one. I think those are the only three. No, I guess there is a D. D is more of a, like, that's worse than A. That is, the depth of field on that is ridiculous. Everything in the background is super blurry. That is, I could not play the game like this. That is kind of, like, the model is awesome, but I couldn't play it like this. That's just insane. It's crazy. I would get my ass kicked. Even more than I already am or do. I'm just gonna die here, see what happens. Or, well, I would have if I actually managed to do it successfully. Just get hit here a bunch of times and bite it. Come on! Invincibility frames. These guys don't... They just kind of jump back and forth and don't punch you down. There is this big-ass dragon that you can fight in here. But I'm not sure where he's at. And you spin around and then you explode! Kind of like Mega Man, and he says game over. Otherwise, because of how the character stuff works, you can totally go into the editor and make your own character, and that's fucking sweet. But I never actually did that, because I'm kind of lazy. It's got snapshots, you can kind of mess around with the camera here, do like free camera. It's like, I want to get a cool snapshot and share it with my friends, or, you know, upload it or something with it. It's got a beastie area. You can see that I obviously haven't seen all the enemies. I've missed... Oh no, I'm sorry. The bestiary, now that I think about it, is... The only way you get it is if you use a certain item, and that certain item is the book, right here. So you equip the bestiary, and you... Hold on. I don't know if I actually equipped that or not. Let's get out of town here, and... First of all, let's change this stupid camera angle. It's killing me. Screen? Camera B. This is a compromise. What button was the bestiary? There it is. Alright. So the bestiary is literally, you have to hit monsters with books, and you hit them with the book enough times, and obviously the book is pretty weak, but you hit them with the book enough times and it will add them to the bestiary. But you have to kill X number of monsters with the book, and so for bosses, you can imagine that with bosses that's going to be super annoying and super frustrating to actually do. So, as you can see, I didn't spend that much time filling out the bestiary, but you can go in here, look at the model. That is a Monty Python joke in there about being a vicious rabbit, a killer rabbit, if you will. Yeah. So, all in all, I thought this was an excellent package. Certainly worth playing on the PS3 if you have one. If you don't have one, well, I don't know what to tell you. And that's gonna do it here for Where You At, the first installment of Where You At. I hope to do a lot more of these for games that kind of don't fit into my other video series. And there are certainly a lot of those that I don't normally have a strong recommendation for, or I don't, or I'm not totally terrible at. But obviously other games that fit into those categories, I will put videos up of those in those categories. So, this is attackslug, and I will see you next time on Where You At.
Hey, ho, where you at, boy?